Alright, just a quick disclaimer. All opinions in this video are mine and mine alone, and are my opinions.
All right, so the thing that I wanted to talk about in the vlog today was, or is, what happened to AJNing Ning. I've been asked about what happened many, many times over the years since I closed the site. And the simple answer is it wasn't any one thing that caused the closure, but a combination of many, many, many things. Thing was that engagement had dropped. Facebook had really taken the place of social sites like Ning and educational sites like Ning. Facebook was never really set up to have a classroom type setting, but a lot of people used individual Facebook groups for their education groups. And so it was just so much easier for people to go to Ning, to Facebook instead of Ning. There's a lot of friction between going to a website, or going to a browser, going to Ning, opening the site, logging in. Ning was just difficult. They never put forth the effort to make a good app that would have made them competitive. And so that was one of the problems, and that leads into the development issue. Ning had decided I think actually pretty early on. So the development, they decided that what they really wanted was not the small educators like myself who had really built the site up from nothing. They wanted celebrities having their social sites on a Ning site. And, that makes sense. Those are the people with big marketing budgets that can spend a lot of money and bring money into a company. They didn't want sites like AJNing that were resource heavy, because at the end we had gigs and gigs and gigs of information, just loads of photos that people had shared. And there wasn't really a good management system in place to manage all of that information. Ning had never made it possible for the owners of their sites to go in and say anything older than, a year will be deleted. And that was part of the problem. Another part of the problem, so they weren't interested in keeping people like me on the site. They didn't care if I remained or not. And the same for any of the other art journaling or art sites, or education sites for that matter. And so there was that sort of development thing. Then the additional development aspect was they started focusing all of their development resources on things that would benefit the large sites, the, famous people and all of that. And they stopped keeping things that we had used, like classrooms, workshops, and things like that. They stopped working on the development of those. So what ended up happening was there was this point, probably like in the last 2 years, where everything on AJNing looked old, and that's because they no longer did any sort of updates on the stuff that we used. So, if I had updated anything, I would have lost all of my classrooms, all of the workshops, all of that information would have been gone. So I chose not to update. Basically, any sort of update that I had done to this, would have done to the site, would have broken it beyond repair. And there was, effectively no help desk early on in Ning. Their help services were pretty good. If you had an issue, you could email someone and they would talk you through it. At the end, there was no one available. If you wrote to support, it might take a week or more to get any sort of help, unless it was about payment. That was the only thing and Ning kept up on. So there was that. They just didn't want us anymore. So there was that aspect of it. Also, like, I had just graduated from grad school, and I started working. My work hours were inconsistent. Doing anything outside of work at that point in time was just really difficult because I was trying to get my clinical hours in so that I could get licensed, which is a whole other thing because I'm still not licensed almost 7 years later, and I'm not getting licensed or choosing not to get licensed, even though I have the hours and would pass a test. Whole other story. But so there was that aspect of it. I was just too busy to put forth any effort to maintain the site. I did, however, in my free time, explore the option of taking all of the information from AJNing and moving it to a self-hosted Moodle site or other educational type of freeware site. And I actually got pretty far into the process of working on the Moodle site. And then I think it was around that time. So, there was that. And then at that point, I think it was somewhere around that time that my big good laptop died. So all of that information that I had downloaded from AJNing, which was on that laptop, that Moodle site that I'd been working on, was just kind of gone. I could probably pull the hard drive out of that laptop and get the information back and put it into a enclosure. So it's not gone. It's just sitting there unused. But again, there's a reason schools have entire departments dedicated towards setting up their educational sites. It is a ton of work, and I still don't have the time to do that kind of thing. And if I did do it, I would start it from scratch. So then the other aspect of it was engagement was just dead. AJNing had gone from a site of very, very active membership to a site of very little membership or very little activity. There's, over 6,000 members there at the end. But, 2 or 3 people were logging in towards per week, not even per day, per week. So 2 or 3 people, probably including myself, because again, the analytics tools for Ning for sites like mine were no longer very effective at telling you how many people had logged in or not. It would tell you who was active. Anyway, it was a mess. And activity had dwindled along with my activity on the site and other people's activity. I think the combination of Facebook kind of just taking over the social networks. People were begging me to start a Facebook group, and I was already very questionable as to whether or not I was going to continue with Facebook. And I certainly didn't want to start a Facebook group to replace AJNing. They're just, I think, I kind of started it, and then I was just like, I hate Facebook. It just doesn't provide the kind of experience that could replicate AJNing. I think there are sites out there probably that could get something similar to what AJNing was, but Facebook isn't it. And again, I think AJNing Ning was one of those things that was in the right place at the right time. I miss it a lot. I think AJNing was a really amazing space, especially like the first 5 or so years. Train. All right, train is gone. Like I said, AJNing Ning was great in its heyday. It was a wonderful thing. I think it was the right time, right place for a site like that. And that brings me the pricing aspect of it. Ning had consistently raised its prices throughout the years. If any of you were involved in the site over the years, I did a yearly fundraiser to raise the money to make AJNing Ning continue. The first 2 or 3 years, I just paid for it myself. It wasn't very expensive. I think it was like $25 for a whole year's worth of service. And then it just slowly increased over time. And then they based it off the number of members you had. And then it was like $100. Then it was $300, I think. And then I think it stayed around $300 for quite a few years. And then the last year, because the site had 6,000 members, it would have been, I think, $1,000 to keep it going. And yeah, it's going to work. All right, so I tried recording with one of these little Bluetooth jobs, and when I hit record, I hit it twice, and so it didn't record the last of my AJNing Ning. explanation. So to make a long story short, it was a whole assortment of things. And where I ended up um, in the last couple of videos, the videos that I recorded out at the school that's abandoned, or not really abandoned, but being emptied, I was talking about the fact that when I sat down and I looked at the amount of money it was going to take for me to ask the members for $1,000 ish. It just didn't seem like members were going to get enough of a benefit from that amount of money. Like the payoff for the members wasn't wasn't adequate to justify asking for the $1,000. And I still stand by that. I still think that asking the members to donate or pony up or whatever you want to say, cough up $1,000 for a site that was pretty much dead in the water would have been just my ego. Like, I wanted to keep our journaling Ning alive for as long as I possibly could, and I did. And Facebook killed it, Ning killed it, and you know, it like so many websites that were great, it stopped being great. It was a great resource in the beginning, and when everyone was contributing, and social media was different. And it's a sad thing, but it's also a reality of being able to let go of something when it's time to let it go. I could have asked the members for that $1,000. I think it wasn't quite 1,000. I want to say it was like 900 or something. And I did at one point try and pare down the amount of membership to bring it down below. I think it was a 5,000 person threshold. But we still had people actively signing up for the site, even though the site was dead in the water. People still were joining. So I say 6,000. It was well over 6,000 at the end. It was probably closer to 7,000. And even though like I would go through and I would compare, I would remove people who hadn't logged into the site in years, or who had never contributed. And some of the people I recognized from other sites, from other social media, and it felt bad. So to me, the most fair thing was to just say goodbye to everything and everyone, and let it go. So yeah, so that is the very long story of what happened to art journaling Ning. It's a complicated but also really simple story of website development and how things go the way of the dodo eventually. And I'm sad about that. I do miss the site. I will probably always miss the site, especially since the site was so good. And I do miss it. Hopefully the sound is okay, because I'm recording in the car and I forgot my microphone, and it's cold here in Massachusetts, so I had the heat on. But anyway, thank you for supporting the channel. I very much appreciate it. And I really appreciate all my Ko-fi supporters and people who have supported me outside of Ko-fi. That's really fantastic. I appreciate it so much. And for the people who've, hit the Amazon wish list and sent me some stuff, I really appreciate that too. I've had a couple of people reach out and ask for Venmo, and that's been really helpful. I've been able to get some supplies and whatnot, and it's been fantastic. So I really appreciate all of you. And I wrote about this on my micro rants blog. For those of you who want to support the channel, but don't I don't want anyone to feel like you have to support the channel financially. Financially is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Who doesn't want money? And spread out across, all of the watchers at $3 a person, that's it's great. But I also don't want people to think that you have to support the site financially. one of the best things you can do to support any creator, and especially this channel, is through watching the videos. The most important thing to the YouTube algorithm is that you watch videos. The more you watch the videos, the higher my watch hours go, and that's what YouTube wants to see, for them to recommend me to other people. That's how the algorithm works. People have to watch it. People have to like it. People have to hit that thumbs up, leave comments. All of that is really, really important for every creator that you watch, every creative person. I struggle with using the word creator. Yeah, I create stuff, but mainly I'm an artist, and I consider myself a maker. I'm an artist and I'm a maker. I guess I'm a creator of content as well. Regardless, the most important thing you can do for anyone doing this kind of work is watch their videos. Watch their old stuff, hit a playlist, and just watch, leave it on, like let it play, and share links on your social media, on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on Instagram, wherever you are. Share a link, mention that creator's name, whether it's me or someone else. It's so important for the life of someone's channel that you are watching their videos. That is the most important thing you can do in terms of support. Share a link to someone's videos on Facebook. And I'm not even just saying mine. Yeah, share mine. I want you to share mine too. But share anyone's YouTube videos on your Facebook, and that helps their channel grow. That spreading, that organic spreading of links and shares and all of that is what really helps every creator on YouTube grow. And that's really all I'm putting this content out there. I'm putting these videos out in the same sort of vein as I did art journaling Ning. It is out there. It is free. Information wants to be free. Art information wants to be free, and it's in the same idea. Like, I want you to watch this stuff. I want you to gain joy from the stuff that I post. Maybe you learn something. That's why I post this stuff. It's not just because I want to grow my channel and I want to get some of that sweet, sweet YouTube money. Because, yeah, I do. I mean, I will never make a secret out of that. I had this monetization at one point and I let it go because I stopped making videos. I do regret that. I will not lie about regretting that. Anyway, thank you for watching. I really appreciate all of you who are here and watching and contributing. And, if you're in the comments, making comments, I try and answer all of them. And I'll continue to do that as long as I can. And so I just want to say thank you for watching. And thanks. I'm going to try the Bluetooth thing again.